Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 14th of February and welcome to the newspaper analysis. My name is Sahil and in the today's video I will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And guys, the explainer PDF that I will be using here in the video, you can download the PDF from the Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram channel is given in the description box. Now, first of all, before moving, let's see the overview of the article so that we can understand that which articles are actually relevant for our newspaper. So first of all, guys, this is the Hindu paper and we will be taking up the text and the context section. Now the text and the context section is similar to the explained section. Now first article is talking about the import ban on the drones which has recently been notified by the government. So we'll understand it with respect to the policy implications which will be coming out. Then below there is an article which is talking about the anti-doxxing policies. So with respect to the anti-doxxing, we'll understand this particular article. Then after that, guys, the IAS interviews a journey inward. So this article, it is just talking how to prepare for the interview and all such kind of thing. With respect to the examination, this article is not relevant. Then moving on, after that we reach to the Hindu. This is the page number 1 and here we can see that the first article is talking about the fierce contest in the Goa Uttarakhand. Political news, not at all important, fine. Then guys, India non-committal on funding curbs on the UK NGOs. So basically we have covered all this thing already, that what has happened, the India had imposed a curbs on large number of NGOs. FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, is there, under which the license is to be taken by the NGOs. Okay, many of those NGO licenses got expired towards the end of the 2021, and on some others the bans have been imposed by the Ministry of Home Affairs as they are not adhering to the government regulations. Some of these NGOs are from UK, so they have said that remove this particular ban. So this is something that is going on. However, nothing concrete has come into this particular direction, so therefore for examination nothing is important there. Then guys, further moving on into this particular direction, into the city section, okay, nothing very much important is there. However, just for a passing reference, just as a passing glance we can make here, specially abled alleges discrimination. Now guys, see this particular thing. This is a kind of an incident that happened in one of our restaurant where a disabled woman was not allowed the entry. It was said that she might be the nuisance for the other people. This is a kind of a attitude, the wrong attitude that we hold towards the people who are not abled with the other people, in terms of the other people. So guys, this is a kind of a deliberate disability that we are imposing because of an impairment of a person. Clear? So such kind of attitudinal changes are very much needed. Then further moving on, now guys, into this particular direction, into the regional section, just the pages are filled with the political news. Much of important things are not here. We reach directly to the editorial page. So this particular article is talking about the politics of the different political parties. With respect to exam, nothing is there. A dipping graph in occupational safety and health. We'll see this article with respect to the occupational safety. Then for something, this article is talking about the Quad recent foreign ministers meet that has happened. Fine. Faltering recovery. So guys, this article is talking about the recent IIP which has been improved by just 0.4%. Already this particular thing, IIP issue, we have taken. And please guys, with respect to your examination, such kind of things actually are not important. Why? Because IIP estimates, by the time your exam will come, it will change whatever is coming today. So IIP numbers, every sector's growth today will not make much of a sense because it will change. And secondly, you need to understand the state of Indian economy. That is more important. Fine. Then an era of combative federalism, we'll see this. Then India's semiconductor dream with respect to GS paper number 3, important article, we'll see this particular thing. A Game of Thrones in Congress, nothing important, political article. Then after that, center readies for LIC listing to offload 5% stake in insurer. So basically the LIC, under which the stake was with the government, now government is going for the disinvestment into the LIC. So government is reading. Now guys, the moment when this stakes will be put out, we will be seeing this particular thing. Till then, today they have readied the document, today they have done this, today they have done this. Every day's development is not important. Then further moving on, Supreme Court examines allegation of rampant use of PMLA. So we'll see this particular issue, what it is all about. Then center extends police modernization scheme, we'll be seeing it. Then the assembly polls. Okay, please skip this entire page, nothing is important here. Fine. Then guys, these many people in this particular group got their first dose. Please don't go. Fine. Daily cases not important. Now see, bird monitoring team record 203 species. Now one very important lesson for you. See, if you see this particular article will look very important, is it clear? But guys, actually there is no substance in this article. 203 species in the Karnataka have been reported. Now neither you can remember the name of all these 203 species, and specifically after that it is only specifically to the Karnataka. If it would have been the national level water bird census or bird monitoring census, then it could have been important. Otherwise it is a very generalistic kind of thing, not important for our examination. Then basically rising number of cases, etc., just those kind of things are there, nothing important. Sri Lankan MPs moot orderly renegotiation of foreign debt. So already we have seen this particular thing, that into the Sri Lanka there is an economic crisis that is going on. Now a lot of debt Sri Lanka has to pay to many of the countries, and they said that please give us some sustainable terms of condition. So just that thing, the parliamentarians of Sri Lanka had just raised this particular matter within their country. Now guys, as we are talking about this Sri Lankan economic crisis, already we have taken this thing that India had extended $1.4 billion of aid to the Sri Lanka. Is it clear? What we have done, we have given a credit swap agreement, then we have given a 500 million extra, we have delayed our credit also, and 500 million credit extra also has been given by India. Fine, so this is something that is going on. Okay, don't go too much deep. Then today is Monday, so on Monday money wise page comes, business page is not there. Usually money wise page is not important for our exam, but today guys, here it is talking about the interest rates and the bond yields. So for that particular thing we'll see this particular article. Then after that there is a sports page, and this is all about the today's newspaper. So guys, let's take the discussion of all these articles one by one in the detail. Now, as we start in every class with the GS quote, so today we'll be taking the quote from the former United Nations Secretary General, Kofi Annan. So Kofi Annan says, knowledge is power, information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. So education has been called as a precondition of development. Every society, every family, it has been an important thing. So this is the importance of education that has been talked about. Okay, we can use this particular idea in GS paper number 2. We can use this idea into the GS paper number 2, the social justice, the role of education. Now, first of all, the last Saturday's MCQs. Okay, so the first MCQ, the correct answer is B. Second question is correct answer is B. You can pause the video and you can see the explanation. Also, you can download this entire PDF directly from our Telegram channel. Now, taking up the MCQs for the today. So guys, the MCQs are actually given from the previous newspaper analysis video. So today we have taken the question onto the IIP. Why? Because recently IIP was into the news. Fine, so there are certain statements. Please read these statements and identify which are the correct statement. Pause the video and do that thing, and it is very good to see that most of you are actually answering these answers into the comment box. Fine, very good, keep it up. Then second question, okay, it is about the basically this particular question, it contains the information issue with respect to the cyber crime. Fine, so with respect to the cyber crime, we have seen recently it was into the news also. So please read the statements and answer the question. Now, taking up the first article, the import on the bans. Now this article guys has been taken from the GS paper number 2. It has been taken from the it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it will be important in GS paper number 3. It will be important in GS paper number 3, the state of Indian economy, as well as in GS paper number 2. It also will be important. Why? Because I will be telling you here about the drone applications into bringing the good governance for the people. So for both GS2 as well as GS3, it will be important. First of all guys, see, when we talk about the drones, they have also been called as the third eye in the sky, and drones happen to be very important intervention. Today, India is aspiring to be the drone hub of the world, as stated under the documents of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. And after the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan also, the Ministry of Civil Aviation provides that India wants to be the drone capital of the world. Now, first of all guys, let's understand that where the application of the drones will be in the governance. Now, this information which I am using here is not the part of this particular article, so it is something extra that we are going to take. So basically guys, what had been happened, the drones, their application could be into large number of areas. Usually we think that only into the surveillance their use could be there, but yes, surveillance, counter combat operations. But along with this, the Ministry of Home Affairs can use the drones for the VVIP security management. Recently we have seen that a goof up into the Prime Minister's convoy movement happened, so into the VVIP security movement, in crime control, in making the raids in some of the areas which are inaccessible or some dangerous, there the drones can be used. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare can use drones for the delivery of medicines into the rural areas which are inaccessible. Vaccine delivery can happen into the rural, tribal, forested areas. Collection of the tests or the samples can be taken through the drones. Then the Ministry of Agriculture can also use the drones very effectively for the crop and soil health monitoring. Now guys, for the anti-locust work also the drones can be used. You know that the locust attacks happen, they destroy the crops, so for spraying the insecticides over the locust, for the anti-locust work, the drone can be used. For the insurance claim survey, the drone can be used. Under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, the farmers' lands, they are insured against many of the natural calamities and such kind of events, so surveying the land can become very easy if we use the drones. Then Panchayati Raj, for the land record and property rights, the drones can be used. Is it clear? Today guys, if we talk about the civil cases pending into the judiciary, they are the biggest chunk of the cases, and through these civil cases the land disputes are there. So today land deeds, land titles are to be settled, and for that the land survey is to be done. Now this land survey can be done mechanically, which will be time taking, which will be expensive, and then the land survey can also be done by the drones. So this can be a very effective use. Then the Ministry of Environment can use it for assessing the anti-poaching operations. Clear? Monitoring of the wildlife can be done through the drones. Fine. Then Ministry of Power can use the drones for the surveillance of the transmission lines. Now guys, the transmission lines, many a times they are tampered, okay, many a times they are destroyed by some of the miscreants. So for the surveillance of the transmission lines, and Road Transport Ministry can use the drones for project monitoring, that whether the projects are on time, incident response, let's say some accident had happened, so for that particular thing the drones can be used. Now this particular information guys, see, okay, this particular information that is there, it is highly important. Any area where we are talking about bringing the technology, drones can play a very important role. So for this particular thing, we need to become self-reliant into the drone technologies. That is one particular thing. Now guys, in order to expand the drone usage, now government has said that we are banning the import of drones. Okay, we are banning the import of drones. Only the drones can be imported for the research and development purpose, defense purpose, security purposes. Apart from other purposes, the drone will be not be allowed. Now guys, why? Because this will give an impetus to our domestic drone manufacturers. Okay, as the import will not be allowed, domestic manufacturers will get an incentive, and by this we can become the drone capital of the world. Is it clear? It can promote the Make in India drones. Now guys, at the same time, the restriction have not been imposed onto the import of the drone components, because the local manufacturers, they need the drone components, for example the diodes, the chips, the motors, the fan blades. Okay, so these components, on them the restriction is not there. After that guys, it has been said that basically the import of drones by the government entities, they can be carried, educational institution, okay, the R&D entities, they can import the drone, but for that import authorization is to be obtained from the DGFT, Directorate General of the Foreign Trade. Now earlier when we talk about the drone, earlier they were into the restricted category where the permission was to be taken by the DGCA, that is the Directorate General of the Civil Aviation. Okay, but now they have been banned. Now guys, if you are following our newspaper analysis, earlier also we have taken it that guys, last year 2021 government had brought out the liberalized drone rules 2021. Under this liberalized drone rules 2021, government had said that there might be a lot of possibilities about the drone. For example, the drone taxis could be there. Fine, they have said that drones can be used for the delivery of food items. So liberalized drone rules were there, and into these liberalized drone rules, the permission that was to be taken for the import of drone, it was relaxed from the 25 documents to just 5 documents. These only permission you need to retake, but now that it has been, the import has been restricted. Is it clear? Moreover guys, what government has done into the past, government has also brought the production linked incentive scheme, PLI scheme. Under this PLI scheme, the separate a specific tranche of money has been earmarked, and this money will be given to the drone manufacturers. Okay, and it is to promote the Make in India and to make India as a drone hub by 2030. So this is the guys change that has come. Now what is the fundamental assessment of this particular thing? So guys, my fundamental assessment onto this particular thing is that ultimately what we have done, we have said that okay, you can import the components of the drone, you can import the chips, you can import the fan blades, but fully made drones you cannot import. Now if you can import the component, what can happen guys? At the end of the day, still we will just be the assemblers of the drone. We will import the component of China, we will just bring them together and we will be the assemblers. No, we don't want to be assemblers, we want to be the manufacturers. And for that particular capacity, rather than banning the import, government should have come out with some enabling condition. Is it clear? Government should come out with enabling condition. Government should have identified the root cause, that why the foreign made drones are cheaper compared to the India, or why there is no technology that is there. So on that particular thing, something should have been done. So this is guys about all this particular thing. Particularly the usage is very much important. So that is all guys about this particular thing. Now moving to the next article. Okay, there are questions. First of all, good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody. And poaching is hunting of the animals. Okay. Okay, sir, please cover the articles on tribals and anthropology. Okay, see, whenever these articles are there, we do take it, Lakshmi, fine. Now, taking up the next article, anti-doxxing policies for Meta. Now, guys, this particular thing will be very much important for our GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, issues related to the cyber crimes and cyber issues. Cyber crimes and the cyber issues. Fine, we will be seeing this particular article. So what this article is talking about? Article is talking about the anti-doxxing policies for Meta. Now guys, the Meta, okay, by the way, you might have known also that the Facebook, now they got transformed to Meta. So the Meta had said that we will be coming out with the strong anti-doxxing policy. Okay, so into the Meta's oversight board has recommended the anti-doxxing policy. What is this doxing? Very important keyword. Even into the prelims examination, PT, this thing could be very important. Doxing is publishing another person's personal information on the internet just to harass that particular person. Let's say that there is one person, let's say I am a very big YouTube influencer and some person is nagging me, or I don't like that person. I will release that person's address, I will release that person's mobile phone onto the internet, and I will ask the people that okay, you just go and you spam this particular person, or you just go onto that person's home and just irritate that person. So this is the doxing, publishing any person's personal information on the internet with a malicious intent. Now this doxing can actually be used to shame or punish the people with whom I'm having the rivalry, and this doxing can result into the emotional distress. It can lead to the loss of employment, it can lead to even the physical harm or death into the extreme circumstances. And today the doxing has become a very big kind of a cyberbullying mechanism. Doxing has become a cyberbullying mechanism today. So against this doxing, the strong anti-doxing policies are needed, and the Facebook had come out with this particular proposal. However, they say that the doxing will not be applicable when the person wants to share his information, personal, private, residential information, phone numbers, so that for a philanthropic purpose. Let's say guys that let's say that this particular thing that I want to help a poor person, and I said that okay, this is my mobile number, if you want to send me some money, you can send me. Now some another person sharing my mobile number, fine. Now that third person in this case will not be punished. Why? Because here is a philanthropic cause that is there. Okay, so for charitable purposes, finding the missing people, animal, objects, fine, the anti-doxing provisions will not be coming. So only for malicious intent, the doxing will be there. So this is all about this particular thing. Is it clear or not? Now further moving on into the next article. Center extends police modernization scheme. Okay, this particular article will be important in GS paper number 3, as well as GS paper number 2. In GS paper number 2, when we talk about the governance, now guys, policing happens to be a very important part of the state and is important for governance of the law and basically for the providing the services of the law and order. So in GS paper number 2, enforcement agencies reforms, it will be important. Is it clear or not? In GS paper number 3 also it can be important, because guys, internal security element is there in GS paper number 3. So under the internal security there is some application, we'll see this particular thing. Now first of all guys, what had happened, the government has approved the police modernization scheme up to 2025-2026. Now see guys, when we talk about the police, understand, I am telling you here two concepts. There are the two versions of police as a force. There is the police as a force, and then the second, the police as a service. Now police as a force is based on a notion that the citizens, they are to be disciplined, and as when the police as a force phenomena will be there, then what will happen, there will be the agencies will be ruling with a kind of a iron hand. Okay, but when the police as a service is there, the police will be having an attitudinal change into their mind, and they will feel that they are the servants of the citizens. So police as a force, there is a elitism. Okay, there is an elitism, there is a kind of an authoritarianism. But police as a service, there is a humbleness, there is a spirit of serving the people, there is the compassion, there is the empathy. But in police as a force, compassion and empathy is not there. Here rather the apathy is there. Now guys, when we talk about the Indian police has been raised by the Britishers, and Britishers always wanted to have the police as a force and not police as a service, because when the Britishers came in India, they wanted to rule the country with an iron fist, and therefore they needed to have the police as a force. Now the Britishers have went away, but today also guys, this particular attitude that the police are the force, it is staying. Now this attitude is to be changed, and for that particular thing, the modernization of police is to be carried. And now the government has extended this police modernization plan up till 2025-2026, and therefore even into the topic of police reforms, in GS paper number 2, it can be utilized. Now guys, this police modernization program, it has the provision that basically police, the capacity will be expanded so that they can be more effective in internal security, in maintaining the law and order. The police should adopt the modern technologies. Okay, the police's forensics right now are very much weak, so modern technology adoption will also be focused. Moreover guys, here the state governments, they will be provided the assistance so that they can train their police for the narcotics control, the drug control, okay, for the strengthening of the criminal justice system. Okay, they will develop the forensic setup into the country. All these particular things will be emphasized. So the police modernization scheme has been expanded. This is one thing. One more concept guys, I want to tell you, little bit beyond the scope of this particular article, but very relevant for our examination. Guys, when we talk about the police reforms, the Prime Minister also had given a mantra of smart police. He had talked about this smart police. So that smart police concept can also be utilized here. What is the smart police? Prime Minister says that police in India needs to be strict and smart. It needs to be modern and mobile, M. Then it needs to be alert and accountable, A. Then it needs to be reliable and responsive, and then T, it needs to be techno-savvy and trained. So we need to have strict and sensitive, modern and mobile, alert and accountable, reliable and responsive, techno-savvy and trained police. So this is also a line of police reforms that has been there and could be used in your answers. Is it clear or not? And guys, just one homework I am giving you, just if possible, there is the Supreme Court's 7 directives also onto the police reform that are there, which were given into the Prakash Singh case. Is it clear or not? 7 directives were given. Is it clear? If you want to prepare for the police reforms, do that also. This judgment was there. Is it clear or not? That is all. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Okay. Okay, sir, are your analysis sufficient, or should also read the newspaper after analysis? Cause I'm only reading newspaper through your analysis and it helps me a lot. Thank you. Okay, Kashish, see this particular thing, that reading is always a very good habit, and if possible, I will suggest you to read the paper if it is possible. However, on some days, if you are not able to do that, then please see the video. But reading, I will advise it. Okay. Good morning. Now, further moving on. Supreme Court examines allegations of rampant misuse of the PMLA. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that the money laundering, okay, happens to be an important theme under the internal security. It happens to be an important theme under the internal security. Internal security is given in GS paper number 3. Internal security is given in GS paper number 3. So this article will be important in GS 3. Now guys, frankly, if I tell you, within the article much of substance is not there, but as the Prevention of Money Laundering Act has been discussed, we'll discuss about this entire issue into the detail. First of all, what do we mean by money laundering? What do we mean by money laundering? Or let's say, first of all, let's discuss the background. Okay, so the background goes like this, that there is a concept of money laundering. What is money laundering? It is a process of making the large amount of money that has been generated by criminal activity to look as a money coming from legitimate source. Understand this particular thing. Suppose there is a person, he had earned some money through corruption, or he had earned some money through the drug trade. Now that money he cannot show to the government, that okay, because government will ask from where that this money has come. So what he will do, he will basically clean this money. He will clean this money and he will show this money that this money I have earned from a legitimate source. This is money laundering. That is cleaning of the dirty money. Is it clear now how this particular thing happens? I will explain that thing also. So guys, with respect to the concept, it happens to be a very important thing. So money laundering has 3 stages. You can call it as PLI. 3 stages PLI. Number 1 stage is placement. What you do, guys, basically the money that has been collected, it will be placed into a bank or into a financial institution. What I can do, I'd say I have earned 1 lakh rupees from dirty activities. I will divide this 1 lakh rupees in 1,000 rupees. I will deposit this 1,000 rupees in, let's say, 100 of the bank accounts. Okay, now arranging these bank accounts, it is possible. So I will deposit small parts of this money into the bank account. Then guys, what will happen? There will be the layering. The second stage is the layering. Into the layering, what will happen? This money will be transferred into the multiple accounts, foreign accounts, Indian accounts. It will be money will be layered, multiple layers. Money will be transferred from A bank to B bank, then B bank to C bank, C bank to D bank, D bank to again A bank, then A bank to again B bank. So there will be the multiple layering that will be done. Is it clear? Money will be transferred from one place to another place. Now this transferring is done so that you create such a big trail that at the end of the day, it is not known from originally where the money came, and then that money will be integrated. How the money will be integrated? Money will be invested in some company, money will be invested in some asset, money will be invested in some property, and then the income that will come here, it will be shown as a clean income. So guys, what a person can do, let's say there is a person, he is a criminal, he earned 1 lakh rupees. Now finally this particular money, first of all there will be placement, then there will be the layering, and then third will be the integration. Now in integration, finally what will happen? Let's say he invested the money into kind of a car factory. He invested the, let's say he invested the money into the tourism company. Now what he will say, whatever the money is coming, he will show that the money is coming from this tourism company as a profit. Is it clear? And this is the money laundering. Now when we talk about the money laundering in India, the money laundering is actually dealt under the Prevention of the Money Laundering Act 2002. Now this particular act aims to prevent the money laundering. Okay, it talks about that whenever there is any asset that has been created by the laundered money, that asset can be confiscated, that property can be seized, and under the money laundering, the enforcement directorate is empowered to conduct a money laundering investigation. Now the article says that into the past, government has used this Prevention of Money Laundering Act against every person. Is it clear? It has been said that the ED, which we have talked just about a few seconds ago, it is subverting the act. ED is misusing the act, and again the political dissenters, this particular act has been used. It has been said that actually into this particular money laundering, what has happened, many a time the people against whom the money laundering case is being taken up, they are not being even given the enforcement case information report, ECIR. So ECIR is just like an FIR for this money laundering. Even this ECIR is not being given. People are not being told that what is the charge on them. Just under the money laundering, people are being harassed, and the petition has been gone to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is now examining it. So this is all, guys, which has come here into this particular article. Fine. Now I will be moving to the next. I hope this concept you have understood. It is a very, very important concept for our GS3. Now moving to the next one. the era of combative federalism. The era of combative federalism. Now this article will be important in GS paper number 2, the issues with respect to the federalism. Now guys, over the last few days, I think multiple times I have also used this word combative federalism, where the center and the state are just as a kind, where the center and state just they are at loggerheads with each other. Is it clear? So against the cooperative federalism, the combative federalism is now emerging. Now guys, into this combative federalism, we have found this particular thing, that many a times the governor's position has been misused. Now if you have read your basic Lakshmikant, governor is the agent of the center. Government is being basically sent into a state by the central government. Okay, so many a times when the state government is being ruled by some different party, the central government is of different party, governor becomes a bone of contention. And here many of such examples have been given. Many of such examples have been given of the combative federalism. Now guys, these examples you can utilize if a question on governor controversy comes. Please don't use specifically the name of a person. Is it clear? So this is about this thing. Now moving into the article. So article says that first of all, what are the issues of combative federalism? Recently there were the amendment to the IAS, Indian Administrative Services Cadre Rule 1954 that came. So basically into the IAS cadre rules, rule number 6 was supposed to be amended. Now already 3 times we have taken this particular topic, but let's explain. I'll explain it again what was there. So guys, there basically an IAS officer, okay, or an all India service officer, okay, you know that they are hired by the central government through the UPSC. They are recruited through the UPSC by the central government, but then these officers, they are actually given to the state under the state cadres. So different state cadres are there, and they are given to the state government. Now when they will be serving during their tenure, the central government can call these officers at the deputation. So there are the CDR, central deputations, under which these officers will go, and then they will serve the union government. Now guys, all India service cadre rules 1954, they actually talk about the deputation of the officers to the center. Clear? Now guys, it has been, now up till now the rule was this, that when for the deputation they are to be called, the consent of the officer is to be taken, and the NOC, no objection certificate, from the state is to be taken. When the NOC will be given by the state, then only the officer will go to the center level deputation. Now over the past few years, the central government is saying this thing, that we are asking the officers from the state government, but the state government is not sending the officer. So they have now said that we will change these rules, and we will say that even if the state government is denying, still we can call the officer. So they have bringing this particular thing. Now guys, it has been said that here what is happening, the central government is trying to subvert the state government, and it is an example of combative federalism. Is it clear or not? Then guys, there are other issues also that have been there. Other issues are also which are there. Now the other issues that is there, for example, governor's position has been misused again and again. Let's take the example of 2016 has been taken. So what happened in 2016? The governor of Arunachal Pradesh, he decided that the assembly elections will be advanced. Now the governor does not have the power to advance the assembly election. Now because this particular thing happened, what happened ultimately? The political crisis happened into the state, and ultimately the president rule came into the existence. The Supreme Court intervened into this particular matter and provided that governor's discretion did not extend to the powers basically it said that this is a constitutional crisis which has been held, and governor's discretion did not extend to the powers conferred under article number 174. Governor does not have the power here. Then the second example that was taken, it was into the example of Goa, Karnataka and Maharashtra. Here what happened, governor acted beyond his constitutional brief. He invited the basically parties which did not have the majority to form the government. Okay, he invited the parties to form the government, okay, even when they did not have the adequate majority. So this is actually a kind of an abuse of the governor's power. Then the third example has been given for the Rajasthan. Now here what happened, the governor refused the summoning of the session. Is it clear? The Council of Ministers said that summon the session. Governor say that no, right now will not summon. So this is again the it is again the abuse of power by the governor, because at the end of the day, governor has to act as per the aid and advice given by the council of minister, but governor refused to follow that particular thing. Now guys, the Supreme Court has ruled into the Ajit Mohan case that the system, if it has to work well, then the central government, state government had to work hand in hand, but governor is not understanding this particular thing. The article says it. The article says it. Now guys, it has been said that after this particular thing, the central investigative agencies such as the CBI have been used against the state government's officials, against the state government ministers. So CBI inquiry has also been initiated against them, and today only we have seen that Prevention of Money Laundering Act is also being used. Okay, so these are some of the irritants that have come into the issue. Now guys, now the article says that combative federalism is actually anathema to the constitution. Now anathema means a death blow. Anathema means a death blow. So this combative federalism is an anathema of the constitution, because in the constitution itself a design has been made that a cooperation between the center as well as the state has to be there. Supreme Court has also provided into the government of NCT versus Delhi that in India we practice the collaborative federalism, and in collaborative federalism negotiation will be there. Clear? Occasionally difference of opinion will come, but this difference of opinion are also to be solved by discussion and all such kind of thing. Is it clear? So basically, rather than fighting, rather than running behind each other's blood, we needed to learn to cooperate. This is something that has come here. Clear? That is all guys about this particular article. Please use these examples, but I said that please don't politicize these points. Okay, meanwhile there are certain doubts. Let's take it. Sir, then how should we prevent money laundering? Okay, Karthik, you are talking about the money laundering into this particular case. It is to be reduced by proper investigation into the money trails that are moving. Is it clear or not? First of all, reduce the corruption or reduce those activities altogether from where the dirty money can be generated, and then we need to have the robust mechanism by which we can trace the money's trail. Is it clear? This is something, and this is the way by which the ED is also working upon. Okay, Paridhi says, sir, please tell exactly the term combative federalism means. Combat, to fight with each other. Combat, to fight with each other. Combative federalism, where the state and the center, they are fighting with each other. Is it clear? What happened recently? The chief minister of West Bengal blocked the governor on the Twitter. What it is a fighting cat fight that is going on. So this is the combative federalism. Now moving to the next article, a dipping graph in occupational safety and health. This article will be important in our GS paper number 3, topic of labor reforms. Topic of labor reforms. Now see, basically guys, this article says that the occupational safety of the workers at their workplace actually is an important thing, but it is not being focused. Why the article is saying so? Because recently the Crushed Report 2021 has been released by the Safe in India. Crushed Report 2021. Now Crushed Report says that the occupational safety and health has not achieved the due attention by the lawmakers. This article is providing this particular thing, that if a workplace needs to be the safe workplace, two conditions are to be met. Condition number 1, there needs to be the strong monitoring inspections. Inspections need to be strong so that the owners, they are not violating the safety rules. Okay, they are not making the unsafe workplaces, and at the same time there needs to be the comprehensive database, okay, to form the corrective actions and policies. Number one, make sure that there is an inspection. Number 2, whatever loopholes are you finding into that inspection, make it into a database so that onto that basis we can come out with corrective measures, policies and all these kind of thing. Now this article is talking about this particular thing, that industrial accidents are there in India. There are a lot of industrial accidents that are happening into the India. Now guys, the Labor Bureau is there which compiles all the data with respect to the industrial accidents. Now when the Labor Bureau is compiling this particular data and publishing this particular data, now industrial injuries only have certain sections, certain industries only. For example, factories, mines, railways, docks, ports. Okay, in these establishment, whatever accidents are there, they are being called as the industrial injury. Now understand this particular thing guys, that apart from this also there are many of the sectors that are there, okay, which comes into the definition of industry, but these sectors have not been included. If these sectors have not been included, obviously the industrial accidents happening there, they will also not be included, and by that it will always look that there are very less number of industrial accidents that are happening in India, and when less number of industrial accidents, obviously nothing will be done to correct that particular thing also. Now article says that if we take the present data which we are taking of the Labor Bureau, which includes only few sections, we can find that 40 to 50% of industrial injuries, they are never being accounted. They are never being accounted. Further, this particular article says that actually there are the factory inspectors that are there. Factory inspectors are there. Now, number one, there are large number of vacancies at the post of factory inspectors. Secondly, even these particular factory factory inspectors post, they are very much less. Today, one inspector has a burden of 487 factories. One inspector has to inspect 480 factories. Now, can he go there? No. Simply, but he will be doing, he will just take money from every of the factory and will say that, okay, I will show that you are following all the safety norms. Okay, because he cannot go and visit every factory. So it has been said that inspector cannot physically inspect the factory. They are using their discretion and they are just targeting easy factory, and from other factories there might be some corruption that they are doing. By this particular thing, what happens? The safety of our workers is always compromised. Clear? The safety of workers is always compromised. So therefore it has been said that today the time has come that we need to have strong legal and labor policy inspections in India. Now it has been said that number one, mindless liberalization of the inspection system should not be there. In the last 20 years, what we have done in the name of liberalization, we have liberalized rules. Okay, we have said that inspector will not visit. Okay, you will not be harassed. Now that was not actually harassment, that was the diligence seeking. Okay, it has been said that today we have simplified the process and we come out with the self certification systems. Okay, you just certify that my factory is safe. Okay, so this actually might lead also to a large number of accidents. Now India has actually been the signatory of many of the ILO conventions. So there is the Labor Inspection Convention 1947, okay, C081. Then there is the Labor Statistics Convention of 1985. Okay, now when we are not doing the proper conventions, we are not doing the proper inspections, we are violating these conventions. Is it clear or not? So the vision at 2047, okay, which is the aim of the Labor Ministry to have the safe working places, this will never be achieved if we will not be very much diligent onto this particular process. So this is all, guys, about this particular article. Okay, Karthik says example of Bhopal gas tragedy. Yes, very good example. So that is about it. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay, India's semiconductor dream. Now this article will be important in GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, economic reforms and the state of Indian economy. Okay, now first of all, guys, understand this particular thing that semiconductors, they are coming a lot into the news into the past few months. Fine, I'll say why. Because of the semiconductor shortage that is going on there into the entire world. Now, guys, the semiconductors are the critical electronic component of most of the electronic devices. Clear? In the cars, in your mobile phones, laptops, okay, wherever, in whatsoever electronic device there is some processing that is to be done, there the semiconductors are used. Now because of the lockdown that happened, there were the supply demand mismatch that came into the semiconductors. Actually, for a substantial period of time, semiconductor manufacturing was not happening, but the demand was increasing. Work from home came, electronic activities increased, online education came, so demand for electronic equipments increased, manufacturing was not happening, so demand supply mismatch came, and today there is a semiconductor shortage that is going on. Now when we talk about the semiconductor are the core of the fourth industrial revolution. So guys, now we are seeing the fourth industrial revolution. Now into this fourth industrial revolution, we will see self-driven cars, we will see the machine-to-machine communication, artificial intelligence. This fourth industrial revolution is now coming. Guys, the first industrial revolution was one when the steam was invented. Second industrial revolution came when basically the electricity was expanded, it was used. Then the third industrial revolution came onto the computers, and now the fourth industrial revolution of artificial intelligence is now coming. Now in order to have the self-reliance into the semiconductors, USA has announced a $50 billion package. It is clear. So that semiconductor establishments, they can start their facilities there. India has also approved a $10 billion package here. Now India has a particular advantage into the semiconductor industry. Today we have largest number of chip designers outside the USA. So chip manufacturing and designing are two processes. In chip designing we have largest number of designers. Particularly, guys, when we talk about Karnataka, more than 85 fabless chips, okay, designers are there. Because of this particular thing, we always have a kind of an expertise. Now this particular expertise can be utilized by India. Okay, design professionals, electronic design automation can be carried into the India. Now it has been said that today we need to create the ecosystem of manufacturing also. Today we need to move beyond this designing to manufacturing. Is it clear? And for this particular thing, what we need to do, we need to lock in the demand for the semiconductors produced within the country. Now understand this particular thing. We need to move from designing to manufacturing, and when the manufacturing will happen, when there will be the short demand. Today guys, it has been said that today there is the total demand of $24 billion worth of semiconductors in India. This demand will go to around $80 to $90 billion by 2030. Is it clear or not? In this capacity guys, the automobile manufacturers, they are consuming the large number of semiconductors. So what we can do, we can impose on our indigenous automobile manufacturers that whatever semiconductors you'll use, you have to procure from our indigenous manufacturers. By this, it will be a win-win combination for both. Second thing, it has been said that India also needs to develop the raw material supply capabilities. Now for manufacturing of semiconductor, there are the raw materials that are needed. So minerals are needed. Okay, then there are particular gases that are needed. Okay, assembly, testing, marking, packaging industry, they are needed. Fine. So on all of these particular things we needed to invest. There is also the fab clustering that can be done. What is the fab clustering? All the fabrication plants, all the semiconductor manufacturing plants can be consolidated in some industrial belts, so that the component can be easily provided, so that the movement can be there. See, basically so that the backward and the forward linkages can be easy. Clear? Now the site where these factories will be built can be chosen onto the basis of availability of the location, to act as a force multiplier. Wherever the infrastructure is good, ecosystem is there, skilled workforce is there, so on to that particular basis it can be chosen. We also need to make sure that uninterrupted power availability is also there. Okay, then basically the semiconductor, they also need a lot of pure water, they also need ultra pure water. So wherever the water availability is also there, find the regions where the waters is in the scarcity, it cannot be developed there. Okay, and the area where there are the basically labor disputes are not much, fine, there we can develop these semiconductor plants. So this is all guys which have been provided into this article, and now we'll be moving to the next article, a very good article. Please do use it and note down the points directly from here. Now for something, so guys, this particular article, it is just talking about recently the Quad ministerial meeting that has happened, which has been attended by the foreign ministers. Okay, so they are talking that we will be developing the clean energy supply chain initiative, we will be giving the vaccines to each other. Now it is just a kind of a makeup for the coming Quad Leaders Summit, okay, in which the Prime Minister of India will be participating. For that, it was just a kind of a ground building exercise. Already, just the last newspaper analysis on 12th of February at 7 minutes 58 seconds, I have discussed this entire issue from the scratch, how the Quad came in existence, what is this summit, what are the issues with respect to China, all these things we have discussed. Apart from that, nothing is mentioned into this article. So guys, if you have seen it, please avoid it. If you not, please see at 7:58. Now moving to the next article. Okay, so today we are taking the article from the Money Wise, because today some important relevant information is there. It is talking about interest rates, bond yields and Mr. Market. Now guys, what has happened? Basically bond yield, fine, it has become very much high. First of all, what is this bond yield? Understand this particular thing. Now guys, government, it borrows the money. Government borrows the money. What government will do? Government will issue the bonds. Okay, let's say government has issued the bonds, and these bonds will be purchased by, let's say, the financial institutors. RBI will facilitate all this particular thing. Now exactly what will happen, I will explain this thing. Government today need money. Fiscal deficit has happened. Fiscal deficit, let's say, is of 10,000 crore rupees. So government needs these 10,000 crore rupees. Government will ask the Reserve Bank of India that bring this 10,000 crore rupees. RBI will say that, okay, government, please issue the bonds. Please issue the bonds. What are the bonds? Bonds are simply the documents on whose basis the money will be raised. These are the debt instruments. These are the debt instruments. What will happen? The government will issue the bond worth rupees 10,000 crore. crore. Government will issue the bonds worth rupees 10,000 crore. RBI will say give these bonds, let's say, to the financial institutions and will say that okay, please give us the money, keep this document and give us the money. How much money? 10,000 crore rupees. Now guys, obviously when this financial institution is giving this 10,000 crore rupees, there will be some interest rate that will be paid. There is some interest rate that will be paid. Now what is the interest rate? This interest rate is the bond yield. This interest rate is the bond yield. Understand that if this interest rate is high, what will happen? There will be the benefit for the financial investor, but at the same time it will be lost to the government, because government then had to pay a lot of money into the interest. Already government's deficit is very much high. Already government's revenue streams are dried up. So this increasing bond yield will always be problematic for the government. By the way, one update is that now even you can invest directly into the government securities. There is a RBI direct facility that has been started in 2021. Already we have covered it in our newspaper analysis. If you are following it regularly, you might be knowing it also. So bond yield, it is the interest rate that is there onto the government bonds. If it will increase, bad for government. Now what has happened today, the government bonds with a 10-year maturity, onto this particular thing, what had happened, the bond yield has increased very much high. There is a sharp rise into the yields onto the government bond. Now understand that this is bad for the government. Is it clear? Now why this bond yield has increased? Many reasons are there. Primary reason is that market does not believe into the government's budget math. What has happened? Into the budget, government said that okay, this much percentage GDP growth rate will be there. Just a couple of days after that, RBI monetary policy, there they have said that whatever government's estimate is there, no, that much growth will not be there. It will be less than that. Okay, so growth estimates have been reduced. After that, economic survey provided that the crude oil will be average at 70 billion or 70 to 75 dollar per barrel. But what had happened? Already the oil is going more than 90 dollar per barrel. After that, guys, today's India's import bill is increasing because India imports a large amount of oil from the other countries, and we need to pay them into the dollars. So our forex will go down. Today the Reserve Bank of India has seen a decline into their forex reserves by more than 4.5 billion dollar, and it is the steepest decline that had happened. At the same time, see, in USA there is inflation that is increasing. In USA, the inflation is increasing. Today, inflation in USA is 40-year high, around 7.5%. Now, whenever inflation increases in any country, what happens? The country reduces the money supply. Right now, the USA was giving a lot of money, a fiscal stimulus. Why? Because in USA, their economy was not doing good. And when you need to bring economy onto the track, you give the fiscal stimulus. So as the USA was pumping the money, by that money, the inflation has increased. Now, USA will suck out this inflation. And when the USA will suck out this inflation, what USA will do? USA will increase the interest rates. USA will increase the interest rates. When the interest rates into the USA will increase, what will be the implication? Implication is this, guys, that earlier a lot of investment from the USA had come in India. Why? Because in USA the interest rates were low, so they came and invested into the India. Now because in their home, or let's say into the USA, interest rate will increase, what will happen? They will take back their money back to the USA. Clear? And then what will happen? A lot of, again, new exodus or outflow of the foreign exchange will happen. Foreign reserve will even go down. Okay, and all these particular thing is actually impacting the economic stability. It impacts the economic stability. Is it clear? See, if government is very stable, then the bond yield will go down. Clear? Because people trust the government can pay back, people are willing to give to the money to the government even at lower interest rates. But if the economic instability will come, what will happen? The bond yield will increase, and bond yield increase will never be good for the government. Is it clear? So this is something that has been there. So guys, this is all about the today's newspaper analysis, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow 6:30 AM in the live we will be there. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you.